Really get any better than Dan Bongino just taking a skewer and barbecuing Geraldo Rivera on Sean Hannity's show. This time the heat was too much for Geraldo and he snapped, and he freaked out on Dan Bongino, called him a son of a B, live on air, son of a B, and then Dan Bongino goes, "You wouldn't say that to my face." Secret Service agent, former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino. Let me tell you, I know this guy. You do not want to mess with him. He's not the guy you want in an alley fight to be on the other end of the hallway. I'll tell you what, guys, this is one of the biggest firework videos I've ever seen. It's amazing, and Dan Bongino is an absolute street fighter. Check this out.
Here with reaction, Fox News contributor Dan Bongino, Fox News correspondent at large, Geraldo Rivera. I'm sorry, Geraldo, I'm tired of Joe Biden, your president, out there playing the race card. He's been representing the state of Delaware for 50 years, Geraldo, and then all of these Democrats, the real leaders in Congress, because we know Chuck, Nancy, and Joe are afraid to stand up to the squad, talking about abandoning police and getting rid of the police department. You like to consider yourself center-right. What do you have to say to Joe Biden and the squad tonight?
These ideas are stupid ideas. Forget about them. Nobody wants these ideas, but an elite few on the far left, they have no application in real life. But, Sean, before we go on and let me talk about, what is happening in Minneapolis and these other cities, I must say something about the perhaps unintentional misrepresentation of my experience by my esteemed colleague Dan Bongino on Monday night. I have been covering cops for over 50 years. I am perhaps the most deeply experienced reporters in television history. I have done hundreds of stories over thousands of hours with cops, everything from shootouts to executing arrest warrants to roadblocks to drug raids, you name it. I have been there. I've been to too many cop funerals to even think about. They are horrible. I am a total buff when it comes to cops. Cops like me. I like cops. This accident that happened in Minneapolis was unintentional, but involuntary manslaughter doesn't require intent. This was reckless or grossly negligent behavior. I have the solution to the problem. Cops wear their main weapon, their 9mm usually these days, on their dominant hand, so say your right hand. So this is the hand that has the gun. The taser is on the left hand, your secondary hand. So they're taught, use the taser in non-lethal situations. My suggestion is reverse it. Make the taser the first weapon of choice for a cop. Put the taser on the dominant hand and the 9mm on the secondary hand. It takes a half a second to get that if you need that in a life and death situation. But if you have the taser in your dominant hand, you're more likely to use the non-lethal weapon, and you could avoid the 18 accidental police shootings where the cop thought he or she was using a taser shot.
Dan Bongino.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
I think you'll figure it out.
Give me a second here to digest the stupidity of that.
Hang on, let them talk.
Okay. All right, hold on a second, because
you're nothing but a name caller. You're a cheap shot artist.
Geraldo, you got to let him have his say. You had your say. Dan.
I mean, I never talk when he talks because I like him to just say these things because they're so easy to refute, but he cannot stop talking when I do. But getting to his first point, there's a big difference between reporting on a baseball game and playing it, Geraldo. You never wore a badge, period. Not interested in your reporting on it because reporters deal with facts. And you brought the race card into it the other night when we had this debate, despite having no facts to back that up. And when I brought up the facts that there is no systemic racism,
blacks are twice as likely.
Here we go.
Blacks are twice as likely to be shot by cops as whites per capita. How about that fact? How about that fact? According to the most comprehensive study ever done on the subject.
All right, one at a time.
That's the Washington Post, and they spent a year reporting it.
Let him finish his thought, then you go.
Really?
Dan.
Why do we bother? Geraldo knows everything, apparently, despite the fact he knows nothing.
Dan, stop arguing over time. Now, it's your turn. You have the mic.
Yeah, they did an actual study on police contacts and found no systemic racism. It was the Department of Justice, their Bureau of Justice statistics. But he doesn't know any of that. But secondly, this is, again, why being a reporter about police.
What, you have a 10-minute career as a cop?
Geraldo, you got it. Geraldo,
you've been running for office for the last 20 years.
Take a Valium.
Geraldo,
You've been
you got to
talking
stop.
forever.
Let him talk.
You really got to pipe down. My gosh, you're a 70-year-old man. Calm down.
Dan,
get a hold of yourself. If you put the firearm on the other side, the firearm, you would probably have to cross-draw it because you'd want to fire with your dominant hand, which if you were ever a cop, you'd know that, but you reported on being policing. What's the problem with a cross-draw? The problem is when you're tackled and put on the ground, the weapon's more accessible to the bad guy than it is to you. But because you've never done policing, never done control tactics, but you've reported on it, you wouldn't know any of that. So maybe a little bit of humble pie, back off, stop telling everyone about your great reporting, deal with facts, and realize you don't know what you think you know, you just know what you think you reported on. Those are two separate things. I don't pretend to be a journalist, I'm an opinion maker. Stop pretending to be a cop.
Geraldo.
Again, what Bongino does is make me the issue. Is anything that he has just said useful on this topic? We are dealing with tension from coast to coast. Cities where there is now violence and rage. I condemn the rioters. I think they defame the memory of the slain people. The situation, and you notice he just interrupted me despite his pontification. What we need to do is assure a very restive public that cops aren't out to get them. We have to reassure of the black mothers. If you have a situation, there were 991 cop shootings, deaths last year. More than 2 times as many black people per capita, mostly young black men, were killed than white people. If you have that absolute fact, and you're trying to reassure a black mother, you have to have some solution. You have to say, we have to stop these trivial traffic stops. Why are 6 cops responding when
Let me bring
a black
up another
kid,
point for the constraints of time.
Has an expired registration tag?
Let me go to Dan. Dan, we have 100 dead cops already this year that were killed by gunfire. Almost 100 cops. Okay, that happens every year. America doesn't know their names. We scrolled a lot of them the other night. And my point is that defunding the police is not the answer. There are answers, non-lethal alternatives. I've been talking about them. Certainly more training. At the end of the day, we can't have what's happening in cities like New York and Portland and Seattle and around the country where cops are being pelted with bottles and rocks and bricks and Molotov cocktails and precincts are being burnt to the ground either.
Yeah, but why does that happen? This is what Geraldo, he completely misses. He disconnects. Why is that happening, Sean? It's happening because people like Geraldo continue to pump out a race narrative with no data to back it up at all. There are hundreds of thousands of police officers and millions of police contacts with black Americans in the course of each day. If there was a plague of police officers hunting black men down at night, then I don't understand. If that's happening, where is all this massive body count we would see?
This man, Sean,
this man
is why they have that rage.
This man
with this baloney.
He doesn't know anything about that woman. He doesn't know anything about that woman. Anything. He's injecting race into the argument because he has nothing else.
Mr. Rhetoric.
That's why.
You tell that to the black families that see their sons being killed.
That's all you got.
Twice the rate
you
of
got
white
nothing else,
sons.
buddy. You've got nothing else.
That's a fact.
You've got nothing else. All you want to do is see the country burn. You just want to see the country burn. That's it.
I want to see the country burn. You son of a bitch. I want to see the country burn. You punk. You're nothing but a punk.
Yeah.
You're a punk, Bongino. You're a punk.
You wouldn't tell me that to my face.
We'll leave it there. Coming up, the left continues.